Let's go, Molly. Has John Mallinger joined?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how
How
you
are you?
doing? I'm
Good,
great.
you?
Yeah, everything's good. Been a long time.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah,
Forever.
yeah, yeah, forever.
Everything good with you?
Yeah, everything's great.
Nice.
I mean, besides this whole thing.
I know it's been a weird transition for everyone. I think
Yeah, for sure.
weird
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, but thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate you coming on here. Um, so I'll give a little bio for you of what I pulled up and know, and a
That should
little
be
bit
pretty
of.
short.
Come on, that's awesome. Um, so hey guys, so thanks for coming on. This is John Mallinger, born in Escondido, California, right down the street from me. We played junior golf together.
Go
Um,
Bolts.
there you go Chargers. Um, he played collegiate golf at Long Beach State. Qualified for the PGA Tour, I believe, via Q School in 2006.
Uh-huh.
Is that correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me know if I mess up anything here.
Yep.
Played in 5 U.S. Opens, 2 PGA Championships.
Yep.
Won the TaylorMade Pebble Beach Invitational.
I did.
Current Corn Ferry Tour member.
Semi. Yeah.
Semi, okay.
Semi-retired.
Semi-retired, okay. um, so yeah, I mean, I have a story that, I mean, and you can help me with it, and maybe it's not true, but from what I remember as we were kids playing junior golf, and um, I tell all my students for years your story of what I remember, and one thing was that I remember early on you were a fairly short hitter, but you had a ridiculous short game.
Yeah.
So,
That hasn't changed.
okay.
That's about
um,
right. That's still accurate.
yeah. So, I've had a lot of students that are, on the shorter side, or especially early on when they're 11, 12, 13, 14. And I tell the story that, all of a sudden when you're, I don't know, 17 or 18, it seemed like you hit it 300 yards and your short game was ridiculous and you just started beating everybody. And all of a sudden it was the John Mallinger show. And so I tell people, as a coach that I think it's good that you got all those extra reps in, trying to compete with everybody else, not being a long hitter, and that was good practice as opposed to, long hitters at that age, really maybe don't get that experience.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't hit it 300 yards, but I did get longer. I grew, 3 or 4 inches out of high school going into college. Um, but growing up short hitter, I had to practice my short game the whole time. That's all I had.
Yeah,
So that was huge for my whole career. I mean, still to the day is something I lean on all the time, and I think it's very important, especially for kids learning, you know, putting yourself in bad lies, learning how to chip out of different grasses, to different flags, stuff like that. That's um, just like you, we learned on pretty much public golf courses in North County, which access wise wasn't the best, but
yeah,
it's what we had, and we got to hit free range balls and have a chipping green and um, but yeah, that was honestly still to the day it's something I lean on all the time, even when I just go play for fun.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Uh, How old were you when you started golf?
I was a little later. I was like 10 or 11 when I
10
started
or
getting
11.
serious. Yeah,
Okay.
I was a big baseball player, and then I wasn't growing at all, and the bases keep getting longer. So I was like, it's time for me to pick something else. And then baseball and golf for the same time in high school. So I had to kind of pick, and
Yeah,
I played my first year and was like, okay, I'm gonna stick with this.
yeah. So we have a similar story. I just didn't make it to the PGA Tour. That's pretty cool. um,
Yeah,
why did you get started in golf? Who was the first to introduce you?
honestly, there's not a great story behind it. My brother um, worked at the golf course, and I got to hit balls for free.
Nice.
So it was kind of a deal where it worked out great. I never really had an interest in golf at all.
Hmm.
I rode motorcycles and I played baseball. So
Nice.
it was a total opposite, and all of a sudden, I had good hand-eye coordination. I picked this up pretty well and just kind of went with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. What age did you start competing in tournaments?
I was right around that time, actually. Right when I started, I just kind of went into San Diego Junior Golf program, and
Yeah.
which was fantastic because you get it was $5 for a tournament. You get a hot dog and a Coke, and you can
Yep.
go play Singing Hills or something.
Yep. We used to get our entries in the mail.
It was the best.
That
Oh
was
my
awesome.
gosh. Yeah, you get to sign up, and man, that was the good old days.
Yeah. We had a good crew too.
Great crew,
I
good
mean,
players, man. I mean,
amazing group of players. Yeah.
probably 10, 12 guys got scholarships. That was legit.
It's a big year. I mean, you
Yeah.
graduated in '97 too, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that goes into my
hmm
next question. How did you get recruited, and what were you doing that got you recruited?
I wasn't highly recruited. I would say I probably had 5 or 6 schools, um, 2 or 3 like main scholarships where I was 100%, and then the bigger schools like SC. I really wanted to go to Pepperdine and play,
Yeah.
and I just at the time I couldn't pass up Long Beach State just because they gave me 100%. They basically told me I was going to play right away, and
Yeah.
Pepperdine was probably like half, and we just couldn't afford it. So
Yeah.
um, Long Beach State gave me a great opportunity. I went there. We still live here, still here now.
Yeah.
So we love the city. It's super fun. We had a good team. We had a fun team. It was we were competitive, but we weren't we weren't top 50 in the country. We were right around there,
Yeah.
but we were all competitive in our conference, as you know. But in golf, as soon as collegiate golf's over, it's straight. You're on your own.
Yeah. That
So
happens quick. Yep.
yeah. So for me, I think that's where I kind of excelled. It was all right. It's your time to do whatever you want. Just go, and you're on your own practice schedule. You're on your workout schedule. You do your own thing.
Hmm.
And for me, I always liked that because it was something that I don't know. I just enjoyed. I could just go practice and play whenever I wanted.
Yeah. You're always self-motivated. You didn't have anybody
For sure.
pushing you. Yeah.
Not that I wasn't motivated in college. It was just I think it was more motivated. Like, okay, I don't really have a plan now.
Yeah.
I had a marketing degree, and that's only because my dad told me to get it, pretty much. you know.
Right. Right.
And I honestly didn't really have a plan. I got done with school. I got my car, and I drove to Texas, started playing the Tight Lights tour.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. How did you play in college? What was your?
I was good. I wasn't great. I was first team all conference every year, but I wasn't. I might have been like honorable mention All American, but I wasn't a top 30 player in the country at all.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good. Like, I mean, we have so many kids growing up now, and they're all trying to go to these big schools. I think it's so important to hear your story and how, you went to a smaller school and you got the experience that you needed that, let you do your thing after, and it was
yeah, I
great.
think I think that's great. That's one thing that golf has that not many other sports has. People always ask me like, what's the difference of golf and like baseball? Well, someone can pay to go play a pro-am with Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson or myself back in the day. They can pay for that pro-am experience. You can't
Hmm.
go shoot baskets with a Jordan or someone like that. You can't pay for the experience. So
Right.
that's why I think the public has such a good relationship with golfers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's just a different sport.
Yeah.
It's the opportunity when you get done with college is you can go straight to Q school, and at that time I can get my card, you
Right.
know, and you can't just with baseball you got to go through single A, double A, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
NBA you get drafted, and then it's a tough deal. But with golf you can go straight out and be like, all right, I'm gonna turn pro and see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you make it, you're there.
Yeah.
You're rocking.
There is a fine line of turning pro with golfers, though. you know,
Right.
there's a lot of people that say they're pro golfers, and
Yep.
that story.
Yep. I definitely know that story. Uh, so when you did transition from college, so you went to the Tight Lights tour.
Uh-huh.
That was in Texas. Got in your
Yep.
car, drove out there, and how long did you play on that tour?
I played there for basically 2 years there, and then the following fall, I qualified for the Canadian tour, which was a big step for me because at that point, you start dealing with like media and you have real tournament situations as far as 4 rounds, tee
Right.
times, late, early, different grasses. You're going all the way up and down the coast. You're traveling. You're learning how to do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's it. You can't really. I mean, that's the number one experience you really need to be out there.
That's the hardest part that I think a lot of people don't realize is, you can go shoot 68 on your home golf course all the time, especially on the West Coast when it's 72 degrees and blowing
Yeah.
zero,
Yeah.
and then you're always on the same surface, and you know you don't have a 1:30 tee time in the
Right.
final group, and you can't sleep all night. That kind of stuff is the stuff that is really separates the good players.
Yeah. And how do you think you handled that? And what did you learn over the years
Well, I
dealing with
mean,
that?
I was, I
I
think
got
I was
better.
in
I got better questions coming later, but
the, I was in the final group. I don't know, probably. I think I played 190 events or something. I was probably in the final group, um, maybe 10 times.
yeah.
Never won, but
Yeah.
had a couple seconds and thirds. But it's just different. You learn to kind of, you wake up. I used to like waking up early and then almost trying to go back to sleep if you play at 1:30.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, to try to get some rest because you're so amped up all night. It's wild. So it's a different
Yeah.
feeling. You walk in the range and all of a sudden you're getting interviewed and you're like, why? You're not used to getting interviewed before you play. It's like, oh, you wake up, go hit balls and go play golf, and there's 12 people watching you. And now it's like David Farady's coming over asking you what's going on, and you're like, wait, you're ruining my routine now.
Right.
I used to
I,
just
I, you had a plan before, and now it's all got interrupted.
I used to just kind of hang out and no one would watch me and no one would care.
Right.
But
What was your
you start adapting and get used to it. So
Yeah? What was your first event that you got in contention like that?
Pebble is my first year.
Yeah.
Um, 2007. I was in the second and last group. This is a pretty good story. I was playing with Davis Love and Corey Pavin, and we get to number 5 at Pebble. It's like, I don't know, 100, 200 yards.
Yeah.
Totally different golfers, all three of us. So Davis gets up first. He hits his 5 or 6 iron like straight up in the air, lands 20 feet straight down the hole perfectly. I hit a 5 iron front left. It kind of just stays over there, and then Pavin hits this hybrid and like slices it to like 4 feet.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like that's a perfect example for your kids growing like learning the game. Is there's so many different ways to play golf
Yeah.
and different stories, and I understand that now the game has changed a lot. I mean, people are launching the ball like they've never launched at the ball, and driver are different. But it was, for me at that time, that was my biggest step forward by far because I ended up finishing third. Um, I didn't keep my card, but I was on the way.
Yeah.
But it was just a confidence booster. All my friends were up to my family, and
Yeah.
so
So you finished third. What did you shoot that final day?
71, I think.
71.
Yeah,
That's good.
felt like 62.
I bet.
you
I
know,
bet. I bet
yeah.
like you felt like you played perfect, but
Oh
that's
man, it
good.
was so. I'm hitting putts right before I tee off, and the putting green obviously is right there. And Gary McCord comes up,
Nice.
and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I haven't really met any of these guys.
Yeah.
I'm a rookie
You're
out
a
here.
rookie.
He's like, "Hey, where are you from?" I'm like, "Escondido." He goes, "Man, what is that shithole golf course?" And I'm like, "Meadow Lake." He goes, "Yes, that's it." And I'm like, "Thanks, buddy. That's where I grew up."
Yeah.
But it kind of like made me laugh and like settle me in, and
Yeah.
that was it. Kind of just it's pretty funny actually.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, before we talk even more about like PJ Tour stuff, when you were a kid, did you take a lot of lessons? Did you have a coach?
I didn't do any lessons really,
Yeah,
not until about college.
in college.
My first couple guys from Meadow Lake, just local pros, and then my first lesson was with Tom Sargent. He was at
Yep.
Mesa Verde,
Yep.
and that was in college, my sophomore and junior year. And then I
Okay.
started working with Jamie Mulligan right when my senior year in college, and that's when I really started to excel.
Yeah. So like I followed Jamie a lot. I
Uh-huh.
went to two seminars early in my teaching. He was like, I don't think I've ever told him this, but he was very helpful. Just the way he taught was like perfect for how I learned the game and what I liked about golf and how to teach, and super helpful. But I watched you guys, and you had a pretty good crew of four or five of you. Tomasulo,
Yeah,
um,
Merrick,
Merrick, yeah,
Goidos Cook.
yep,
So Cantlay, Max Hummer was there for a bit.
yeah,
It was a really good crew. We just had a good connection. Everybody was doing the same thing, you know. So we had good schedules. And Jamie was just really good at structure. Like we were obviously good players, but he kind of got us to act like pros every day, basically. You
yeah,
know, have schedules, have formats, have a goal for the day, have stuff like that instead of just going out there working on wrist angle and stuff like that. I never learned golf like that.
yeah. I mean,
So it was, I don't think we even looked at video for 10 years.
yeah,
It was more prepping in the mind and kind of just getting ready for events,
yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. It seems like trying to be your best self when you're getting ready for these things and be in the right moment
For sure.
all the time seems pretty important from what I've seen there.
Definitely.
Did you guys as a group practice together, or was it you
All the
guys?
time.
Okay,
That's all we did.
yeah,
So we pushed ourselves hard and we traveled together. It was great.
yeah. Did you guys play more, practice more, a little bit of both?
We would
Uh,
usually practice for 2-3 hours, and then we go out play 9 holes and have some type of competition. Always a competition.
Always competition.
Yeah,
That's good. I hope everybody's listening to that. That's to me
that's
super
to
important.
me. I think that's totally underrated. You got to have something on the line all the time.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't care. I don't care if it's for $1 or for lunch or $100. The putt's got to mean something.
right.
So
Yeah. Did you do a lot of drills? What kind of
I
stuff were you doing on your own?
as far as like putting and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you're gonna go putt for a couple hours or even a half hour, do you have a structure to that, or was it?
I would do my I would do it every single week on tour. I would do the 100 balls in a circle.
Uh-huh.
I learned that from Phil. Um, he would see how many you can make basically and keep your concentration. It's 3 feet, 100 balls.
Hmm.
You just put 10 coins out in a circle
Hmm.
and you just go around see what you can do. But
Yeah,
for me, it was just like a concentration thing more than anything else.
yeah.
And then like before that, I would do like I would use the chalk line.
Chalk line. Yep.
Yeah. And just
Yep.
do that to warm up and then go into the circles.
Nice.
So,
That's good.
yeah.
And any kind of full swing stuff that you would do much in terms of drills or for what your
Well,
swing what you needed to do?
for me, like, when I was a kid, I was super small. So I used my legs a lot to try to hit it farther. And then I grew and I got stronger and I didn't have to use my legs as much. So Jamie's biggest thing was kind of take my legs out of the golf swing and
Yeah.
kind of rotate around it. So I would put a club on my foot, like my front foot or even both,
Yep.
and try to just get a bigger turn off the ball, and keep
Yeah.
almost hit flat footed. And that was my warm up pretty much every single day on the
Yeah.
range.
I mean, I watched you do it. I saw
Yeah.
you back in the day you doing that drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something that for me, I could get comfortable before I go tee off and be like, okay, my body's moving well.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And when you were prepping for a tournament, could you feel like you were going to have a good week versus a week that you wouldn't maybe play well? Was there any kind of sensations that you would have?
Yeah, I don't know. That stuff is weird because there's sometimes where I'm, I think it was like 2010. I was playing Bob Hope, and I'm on number 8 playing a practice round, and I'm with Jamie and Billy Mayfair, and we just come off a full winter of practicing, Jamie and I, and
Yeah.
he wants me to try this whole new concept. and I'm pissed. I'm like, I'm heated.
Yeah.
So I hit this drive out. I throw my driver like 50 yards down the fairway. I'm like cussing. This is the worst. I can't believe we've had 3 months to do this. Why are we doing this now?
Yep.
And I finished second.
Oh.
So it's like I don't. I've had great warm ups where I've played great, and then I've had some that are just terrible. So
Yeah. I mean, I feel like even when I've watched or myself played well, seems like sometimes the worst warm ups and the worst prep ends up being
yeah,
like the best weeks.
you know I would never base like my warm up off of my round.
Yeah.
It's more the fact that all right, let's just get our body moving, get our mind straight for the first tee, and go from there.
Yeah.
As
I think
soon as
that's
you set expectations of something, it usually goes the other way.
yeah. And is that some of the stuff that working with Jamie and managing your expectations, is that some of the stuff that really helped you kind of transition at that point?
Yeah, big time. That was the biggest thing I think was just prepping for events more than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there was times obviously when I was hitting it better than I was other times, but it wasn't like, man, I'm playing great. I was usually very consistent, like off the tee. I hit it
Yeah.
straight. My iron game was not very good, but I had a good short game. So,
Yeah. Did you primarily work it left to right, right to left?
well, when I was a kid, I was a big hooker because I had tried to get some roll.
Yep.
And then when I started getting bigger, I started hitting cut off the box.
Yeah.
I just felt like that was the most consistent thing for me under the gun.
Yeah.
Um, I'll never forget it when I went through Q school, and I don't think I would have ever got through if this wasn't for Jamie because he taught me how to hit the shot. But on 18 at PGA West, is my last hole. That dogleg left at Stadium,
Yep.
and I gotta,
I know it well.
I gotta make a. I think I'm like in 10th or something, and I gotta. I'm thinking in my head I gotta make a par to get my card
Yeah.
because there's no leaderboards or anything, and I just hit this perfect little 5 yard cut out there, and I was like, all right, I can do this. I know how to hit this shot under the gun now.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, getting yourself to repeat is the biggest thing more than, you know, hitting a big old hook or a big old slice or whatever it is. It's like the ball's got to repeat.
Right.
You know, how can you create a golf swing that repeats?
Yeah. And did you feel like you managed that pretty well most of the
I think that's the only
time
way
you're
I made
playing?
it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so many times when you know how it is when you're playing and your heart rate's up and your mind's racing. It's like, man, I wish I can just get this ball in the fairway.
Right.
So it's like, okay, go back to that feeling of that golf swing, and yeah.
And did you have so that was kind of well, that was your shot, but did you have any other kind of go-to shot or any kind of shot that you'd hit if you had a little bit more on the line?
Um, you, honestly, like I love to like draw my irons in there,
Yeah.
and I love to cut it off the box, and that was
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
I like to work my irons, but it was mainly a draw. That was like my most comfortable shot,
Hmm.
5, 10 yard draw. So,
Nice. That's very good. What was your favorite PGA Tour event?
oh, it's tough. Every single week is good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world. You get totally spoiled.
Yeah.
You're in major cities every single week, so you have great fans.
Yeah.
I would have to put Pebble up there.
Yeah.
I played great there. I loved it there. It's a special place for me. And then Jack's Tournament Memorial, or yeah, that Memorial, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Always in perfect shape. But to be honest, they're all good.
Yeah.
Like the hospitality is insane.
Yeah. And
You,
did you typically travel on your own, or did you travel with your group of buddies and
I
coach?
did, yeah. After 2 3 years when I started making some money, we'd jump on some flights together, and
Yeah.
San Diego boys, Perez and Hoffman, and
Yeah.
those kind of guys. We'd share some little short flights to another city.
Yeah. Very nice. Let's see. I had a couple of questions about PGA Tour stuff. Oh, that was that. Who's the best ball striker you've ever seen or
Oh
played with?
man, yeah, it's you, Sergio to me.
Sergio?
He
Yeah.
just it was a different sound when the ball comes
Yeah.
off the face. Yeah, he just has this. I don't know what it is, but he hits the center a lot, man.
Yeah. Is there a couple other guys pretty close to him that you're like, whoa, that's different?
Adam Scott,
Yeah.
that guy was an absolute flusher.
Yeah.
Um,
Love watching him play.
it just his ball doesn't curve really, you know.
Yeah.
Ernie was pretty impressive back in the day when I was there when I was playing.
Yeah.
He was pretty flawless. At that stage, pretty much everyone's really good, and then there's those elite players, you know.
Yeah.
I
What about guys maybe don't hit it as good? Is there anybody out there that was you're like
yeah
surprised, like, how are you out here?
yeah. There's a lot of guys. I
You
mean,
probably, you probably don't
they're in
want to
this
name
they're in the same boat with me, you know. I don't want to throw
Yeah,
anybody under
yeah.
the bus,
You
but
don't have to. That wasn't on my list. I just
yeah. No,
what
but there was
about
there was plenty. Freddie Jakobsen, man,
yeah,
that guy, greatest short game ever. Just hit it all over the place.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
those
remember
guys
that.
learn how to score. You know,
Yeah, yeah, and that's
I think the game is changing to where it's kind of weeding those guys out a little bit. As you can tell, you know, everyone's hitting it 290 in the air and straight.
yeah. Is that the biggest things you're seeing now versus 10 or 15 years ago?
For
Is
sure.
just
Yeah, for sure. I
raw
wouldn't
power?
say it knocked me out of the game, but it definitely didn't help my cause. There
Yeah,
was always that 275 carry bunker, and
yeah,
it just wasn't in my game.
yeah.
So I had to work the fairway, and they're going over the fairway.
Right.
So,
Yeah. What about short game wise? Who's the best short game besides yourself?
Freddie Jakobsen's up there. Luke Donald,
Yeah.
that guy's short game is nasty. Great wedge player, putter, really good. But also drove it crooked. I
Yeah.
think there's a
Putter too.
correlation of good hands and driving it bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
usually
I think that definitely.
usually if you set your hands early, you're probably a good short game player, but it doesn't help your long game.
Yeah. So, what are you up to now? What's your game like? What's life like? What are you
My
doing?
game, I'm playing golf in 8 weeks.
Like all of us.
Yeah, pretty much retired. It's been a couple of years since I really, really competed.
Yeah.
Um, but I helped start Travis Matthew, and that was a big, big boost for me.
Yeah.
So it's financially that helped me out. And then I started a foundation, which was cool. A couple of years
Yeah.
ago,
I watched it. Yeah.
yeah, we're coming up on year 3,
Nice.
and we're at I think we're about 750,000 now in 2 years.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
So yeah, I pretty much try to take all the people I met along the way, and then luckily enough, I had 18 tour players that come in and help me out, which is huge. So
That's so great.
I know.
Yeah. You did some Riviera this year?
It was at Virginia, which is
Virginia.
the club in Long Beach, but it's the Monday of Riviera.
Monday after. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah,
Well,
but yeah,
awesome.
it's been really fun. That's been a big accomplishment for me as far as doing something different outside of golf, but using my golf to advantage.
Yeah. No, that's huge. Well, that's awesome.
Sorry, I'm charging my phone.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. This has been great getting a little insight to what you did. Do you have any advice for kids nowadays? What they should be doing?
Yeah, I would swing up,
Yeah.
swing hard, and swing up.
Swing up and swing hard.
Practice your short game and figure out the rest later.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's the way the game is going.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think ball striking, it's not as important as it was as far as curving the ball
Right.
like it used to.
I miss curving it like we used to.
Oh my God, we used to curve the shit out of it.
Yeah. I love back right flags where I could slice it in there, and back left hit like a huge rolling draw in there.
Just huge hooks.
Yeah. And now 7-iron goes 190, 200 yards, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, like I said, that's kind of been the thing that's kind of pushed me out of the game is not only that it's not that I can't hit a 7-iron 180. It's the fact that, someone flies this bunker
Right.
290 and I got to go the other way. They
Yep.
pick up 30 yards and now they're hitting a wedge. I'm hitting a 6-iron and it's like
Yep.
just different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. After.
it's really fun to watch still. I still enjoy watching
Yeah.
it a lot.
Yeah. And are you still trying to play? Are you
Not
up for it?
competitively, no.
You done with
I got
that?
a couple starts. I had shoulder surgery in 2013, and I had my first son,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what kind of pushed me away from the game for a little bit,
Yeah.
and never really got back
Yeah.
to the PGA Tour level. I played the web for 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
and I have a couple starts left, so I'm kind of trying to hold those, pick some time, maybe get a
that's,
W.
that's where I saw the Corn Ferry status. I
Yeah.
thought maybe you're coming back when this was all over.
Couple more starts, but you never know. I do miss it. I miss the guys a lot. I miss competing big time. But
Yeah.
I got a 7 and a 4-year-old, so
Well, that'll keep you busy.
little different perspective. Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice you're home with them.
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that was great. I'm glad you were able to come on here, and
For
I
sure.
appreciate you talking to all
Yeah.
the kids and coaches and players that are watching, and I
Hopefully
appreciate
some
your
people
time.
got
Great.
some good information.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll see each other again soon and play some golf sometime.
All right, buddy.
All right.